All right. So I want to take a minute to talk about my root and rewire process that has helped me stop binge eating. So I get asked all the time, like, why do I feel out of control with food? Why do I intellectually know that I am full, but I just continue eating? Why do I intellectually know that I should not be giving into my binge urges and I'm still giving in? Why do I know that I'm technically allowed to have some chocolate in the middle of the day, but I beat myself up? I get into the all or nothing mentality and I say that tomorrow's going to be better. I get asked this question all the time. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? And I remember asking myself the same question because I was always very much into health and fitness. And I knew how to eat healthy. I loved eating healthy. And I could not understand for the life of me, though, why I was feeling out of control with food. And so I created this root and rewire process because I got to the root of my binge eating and I've rewired my brain out of these habitual cycles. And I want to walk you through what it actually means to get to the root of your binge eating and how to start rewiring your brain out of these habitual cycles. So if you're excited, let me know in the chat box, drop a party emoji, let me know you are excited. Okay, so when I say get to the root of your binge eating, I am not saying, okay, let's go back to when you were 4 years old and let's do a deep dive into your childhood. I'm so excited. I love it. I don't mean that. What I mean by the root of your binge eating is what is causing you to feel so impulsive with food? What is causing you to have these crazy food thoughts from the time that you wake up until the time that you go to bed? And the root for so many people, and the root for me personally, was these diets. I've spent years dieting from 21-day fixed portion containers to intermittent fasting to keto to carb cycling to, oh my goodness, what else did I do? Keto, intermittent fasting, meal plans, tracking my macros, tracking my calories. I literally did all of these diets. And when you have all of these diets that you've done and you've had all of these food rules and somebody told you you shouldn't eat after 7 o'clock, and then somebody else tells you, oh, well, you should do low carb. And then somebody else tells you, well, you should have 5 small meals a day. And then somebody else tells you you should have 3 large meals a day. You're like, what in the heckin' Bob? How do I actually eat? And those rules create this vision in your mind of how you're supposed to eat. And so now you have this vision of like, these are good foods, these are bad foods. Oh no, can't eat after 7 o'clock. Oh wait, where's the protein? Where's the vegetables? So diet culture gets ingrained into your brain. And now you have all of these thoughts inside of your brain. And what ends up happening is if you've been told don't eat after 7 o'clock and you try to not eat after 7 o'clock, and then one day you eat at 8 o'clock, you eat at 9 o'clock, you're like, oh man, I messed up. Well, if I'm messing up, I might as well just binge. I might as well go into the pantry, eat the cookies. And if I'm going to eat the cookies, I might as well go into the freezer and finish the last bit of ice cream. And then, well, I'm already bloated. So what else can I eat that bloats me? Oh, well, I remember, you know what? I haven't had a sandwich in a really long time. And bread usually bloats me, the gluten, but I'm already bloated. So F it. I'm also just going to have a sandwich. Have you experienced this before? It's the all or nothing mentality. You're like, oh, might as well just keep on going. Might as well just keep on eating. Yes. So what ends up happening is you have all these rules and it creates so much pressure for you. You feel like I need to be perfect. It feels like I can't eat after 7 o'clock. Well, I need to have protein and vegetables at every single meal. well, I should have protein. Maybe I shouldn't have the oatmeal for breakfast. Maybe I should actually have the plain egg whites that taste like absolute garbage. But I remember somebody told me that if I wanted to lose weight, you should eat this. And then you just get all these thoughts in your mind. And then this is what causes you to think about food 24/7 because you have been told that this is a right way to eat. You have been told, these foods are good and these foods are bad. So if you eat these foods and you're bad, and if you eat these foods, it's a good day. So those food rules create pressure. Those food rules create pressure. Binge eating isn't talked about enough. I've been struggling with this my whole life. Okay, well, welcome to the side of TikTok where this is literally my specialty. And I've conquered binge eating myself. And I've helped hundreds of clients around the world conquer binge eating. So you're in the right place. Natty says, you've helped me so much. This is fantastic. Okay, so the root of your binge eating, you have all these rules, right? Through so many diets, keto, intermittent fasting, tracking your food, tracking your macros. You have all these rules in your head of what you're allowed to eat, what you should eat, and what you can't eat when you're not allowed to eat. And rules create pressure, right? And so you're depriving yourself. You really wanted the cookie after lunch and you told yourself, no, you're not actually allowed to have it. You're not allowed to have the cookie. So what ends up happening is because you're depriving yourself from the food that you actually wanted, you really wanted a cookie after lunch, but you're like, oh no, you shouldn't eat that. Come on, you need to do good today. Just say no. Come on, you got this. Let's just muster up the courage to not have that cookie. You deprived yourself. And now that craving has intensified. And now that craving becomes a binge urge. That craving intensifies, and now it feels like you don't have a choice but to give in. And so what ends up happening is you said no to the cookie after lunch and you would have just had, some cookies. You're like, hey, I honored my cravings, and you would have prevented a binge later on. But instead, you try to do good. You try to say no to the cookie, and that craving built up over time. And now it's 8:00 at night, and now you have a strong urge. And you're like, I literally can't do anything. I can't even watch TV with my husband. I can't even chill with my kids. All I'm thinking about is the freaking cookies. And so you give in. And you just tell yourself, I promise one last time. I promise this is going to be the very last time I binge. It's never the last time. It's never the last time, ever. So now you've given in to this urge. And what happens after you give in? And now you're emotionally eating, you're binging on all the cookies, you're standing up in autopilot, and in your mind you shouldn't be doing this, but you're like, I already messed up and I just don't really even feel like I can stop because I'm kind of in this like zone right now. I'm just entered a different world and it feels like I don't have any control. And then after you've eaten so much, you feel bloated, you're regretting it, you're feeling shameful, you're feeling embarrassed, you're like, why did I do that? There's self-judgment, there's self-beat up. But because you've given into that urge, what ends up happening is that urge intensifies, that urge becomes stronger. Have you noticed that from the first time that you've ever binged until now, your urges have become stronger? There's a beautiful comment here. I cannot tell you, Maria, I cannot tell you how much I connect to your post. Content is so good and helpful. Maria, that's fantastic. So your urges, hi Autumn, your urges become more intense over time. And by the way, if you are enjoying this live, click the hearts. Let's send more people to this valuable training that I'm giving you guys. Everybody needs to hear this information. Binge eating is not talked about enough. And I've conquered binge eating. I'm sharing my heart with the world. I'm sharing my knowledge with the world. More people need to hear this. So please like the video if this is helpful for you. Okay, so every time that you give into your urges become more intense. I remember the first time that I binged, like it wasn't like, it was like, oh, like I could kind of try to not give in, and my urges weren't really that strong. And then I kept on giving in and I kept on giving in and I kept on giving in. And then I got to a point where I was like, I literally, there's nothing I can do to not give in. Like I have to, I am crawling out of my skin. I am so freaking uncomfortable. I just have to give in. Like it feels so demanding and so persistent. I can't focus on anything else. I have to give in. And so every time that you give into your urges, you are further ingraining this habit into your brain, and your urges become more and more and more intense. And this is, so I talked about the root, right? You have all these food rules. And now because you've given into your urges so many times, your urges become more intense. You need to rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles and stop giving into your urges. Binge eating has become a habit that's been ingrained into your brain through repetition. And so rewiring your brain is, yes, you need to stop giving into your urges, but you also have to rewire your thoughts around food and see food differently. I used to see going out for dinner as like the scariest thing. I'm like, I had so much anxiety going out for dinner. I would look up the menu ahead of time. I would make a big stink. You know, my husband would be like, my poor husband, he would get so excited, be like, babe, you want to go out for dinner? And I was like, you can't let me know 10 minutes before going out for dinner. Where are we going to go? I just ate. And he's like, well, it's fine. We'll just go later. I'm like, you don't understand. I just binged and I'm going to be full for the next 24 hours. Like, you need to give me a heads up. And so going out for dinner was like this thing that gave me so much anxiety. And you know, I saw like certain foods as bad, you know, like even oats at one point, like carbs. Even, you know, I used to buy these coconut clusters at Costco. They're so good. And I used to be like, nope, don't have them because they're bad. Or dried mangoes. I love dried mangoes. Anyone else love dried mangoes? Their dried mangoes are literally the best, okay? They're so good. But I used to be like, no, Lorna, you can't have them because they're bad. And then what foods do you think I binged on? The coconut clusters, the chocolate, and the dried mangoes, because I was telling myself those were bad. Yes, I can literally finish a whole pack in one sitting. Well, that used to be my reality. Now I can eat with control because I've rewired my brain, and you will get to that point as well too, when you actually build a healthier relationship with that. And talking about dried mangoes, one of my clients, she's like, Lorna, I am binging on dried mangoes literally every single night. And I said to her, I said, well, like, are you allowing yourself to have them during the day? And so I'm binging on them in the evening. And I'm like, okay, you're putting this food on a pedestal. You're seeing dried mangoes as a bad food. So you literally are not allowing yourself to have it during the day. And then when you get impulsive in the evening, you're going to that food. And since you're already impulsive, you're like, well, F it. I know I'm going to binge. I might as well just eat the dried mangoes. And so she started having dried mangoes during the day when she would crave them. And she's like, Lorna, not only am I not binging on them at night, she's like, I literally don't really feel like them. Why does this happen? You take those foods off of a pedestal. Dried mangoes just became dried mangoes. She's like, I'm allowed to have them. It's not a bad food. She's like, I'm safe to eat the dried mangoes. And because she honored her cravings, she didn't have an urge to binge later on. And then also because she was allowing herself to have it, she lost interest. The foods that you restrict are the foods you want more of. When you put going out for dinner on a pedestal, it's like, well, I normally don't go out for dinner. So the one time that I go out for dinner, I'm going to order the sweet potato fries and the burger. And I'm also going to get dessert, even though I'm full, because I don't do this often. If you normally don't allow yourself to have, let's say, you know, certain chocolates that you love, it's like when you do have them, because you don't have them frequently, you're like, well, I'm going to eat the whole box of chocolates because I don't have this frequently. And then when you allow yourself to have those foods more regularly, it's just like, I can have it today. I can have it tomorrow. I can have it the next day. You're taking foods off of a pedestal. It stops becoming so special. For me, one of my past trigger foods was chocolate chip pancakes. Okay, you guys, I am the queen of chocolate chip pancakes. Okay, nobody makes chocolate chip pancakes as good as I do. Literally, they're so freaking good. Okay, and I used to binge on chocolate chip pancakes every single time that I would make them, because I used to say that this was like, Amanda, thanks for liking the live. Peanut is my trigger food. Inject it into my veins. Yeah. Honestly, for me, it was like cashews. Cashews was also a huge trigger food for me. Maria's here. Maria, hello, Maria. So cashews used to be a trigger food for me, and also chocolate chip pancakes. And the reason why was, yes, dates, not, oh my God, dates. You guys, we're all like, I love it. Dates are so good. Anyways, so my chocolate chip pancakes, I used to literally, like, I was like, you can have them once a week. It's like a special food. But then what do you think I would do that time that I had the chocolate chip pancakes? I would eat until I was so full and so stuffed, because I put it on this pedestal. Lorna, you can only have it one time per week. So even when I was full, I'm like, well, I'm allowed to have it one time per week. And I would make this massive stack of pancakes like this, and my stomach would hurt so much. Then I started saying, you know what? Screw the one time per week. You're safe. You're allowed to honor your cravings. And I'm not saying go eat the foods that you love every single day and just screw your health. I'm not saying that. Nicoletta said, you're amazing. Thanks for your videos. You saved me. I love that. I am a huge component for health. If anyone is preaching from the rooftops about health, I very much prioritize my health at a very high level. But I recognize that what was very unhealthy was the binging, was the constant food thoughts. And so I said, Lorna, if you want chocolate chip pancakes on a random Monday afternoon, a Thursday at 3:00 in the afternoon, you are allowed to have it. You're allowed to have the chocolate chip pancakes. And so what ended up happening was I started having the chocolate chip pancakes when I actually craved them. And here's what happened. Number one, I was able to stop eating when I was full, because it wasn't only one time per week. It was like, if I want it on a Monday, if I want it on a Thursday, I could have it. So I was able to stop eating when I was full, because it didn't feel like, well, you're not going to get these pancakes until 1 week after. But then second, I didn't want it as much. I didn't even have it every single week. It was like, it became like once a month, and then it became once every like few months. And now I can have chocolate chip pancakes whenever I want. I don't have them all the time. Why? Because I took that food off of a pedestal. I allowed myself to have it. I stopped seeing chocolate chip pancakes as like this bad thing. It was like, no, you're allowed to have it. So this is the root and rewire process that I help my clients go through. This is what helped me conquer binge eating, and this is what I help my clients go through. You need to get to the root of your binge eating. What is causing you to become impulsive with food? The crazy food, the crazy food rules, the what you've been told in the past, spending so many years dieting, and now you have all these rules in your head about what you're allowed to eat, what you should eat. That creates pressure. It creates this deprivation. This is what causes you to feel super impulsive and have these strong urges. And then when you have these strong urges and you continue giving into those urges, you create this habit in your brain, which is where you need to reprogram and rewire your brain by not giving into your urges. And what's going to make it so much easier for you to not give into your urges is by releasing the rules. Release what's actually causing you to become impulsive. When you stop being so impulsive, it's so much easier for you to not give into your urges. And every single time that you don't give into a strong urge to binge, you are effectively rewiring your brain out of binge eating. Drop an emoji in the chat. Drop like a party emoji if you're like, this makes so much sense. Like, heck yeah, I want to rewire my brain. Heck yeah, I want to stop binge eating. Heck yeah, I want to quiet the food noise. I want to stop eating when I'm full. I want to be able to just go out for dinner with my husband and just, enjoy the food that I want and stop when I'm full. This is the process.
All right, badasses, just popping in quick to remind you of the epic giveaway that I am doing right now. I'm giving away one ticket to the Unstoppable Badass event happening this March in Orlando, Florida. So be sure to check out the link down below in the show notes and share these podcast episodes to your Instagram stories and tag me. Spread the good word. I've had somebody say to me today, no one talks about binge eating. No one talks about a good relationship with food. There's not many people talking about this. And I'm sure you have friends, family members, coworkers who behind the scenes are struggling with this. Maybe you've known somebody that has spent years yo-yo dieting, and you can send this podcast episode to them. But the way that you're going to enter the giveaway is by sharing this to your Instagram stories. Share any of the podcast episodes that I have created. There's literally over 600. Share a podcast episode to your Instagram stories. Just screenshot it, share it to your Instagram stories and tag me. And that is one entry. And if you leave a review on this podcast, that is 5 entries. And I am going to choose one person to win a ticket to the Unstoppable Badass event. The winner will be chosen on January 16th. So be sure to share the podcast screenshots on your Instagram stories and tag me and leave a review on the podcast, and one person is going to win a ticket to the event of the freaking year, the Unstoppable Badass event.
You don't need more motivation. You don't need to just try harder. You need to actually rewire your brain out of binge eating. You need to rewire your brain. You need to get to the root of your binge eating and rewire your brain out of these habitual cycles. And again, getting to the root of your binge eating is not about, like, spending all this time, like going back to your childhood. I never had a crazy childhood. I just knew that, and again, I'm just sharing my experience, but for me, I just knew that I spent 10 years of my life dieting. Hi, Karen. I spent 10 years of my life dieting and depriving myself and restricting, and don't eat after 7 o'clock. Oh, follow these macros. Okay, track your food, weigh your food. It was no wonder why I was feeling so impulsive. The rules is what creates these urges. And when you have strong urges and you keep giving in, that's what creates these habitual cycles. Party emojis. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is my root and rewire process that I've personally gone through. This is why I went from feeling impulsive with food, crazy food thoughts, eating past fullness, to now having an effortless relationship with food where I take really good care of my health, but I also will enjoy, my dark chocolate or some dates with almond butter. I'll have my cashews without binging, without thinking about food. Andrew and I, my husband, we went to Costa Rica this year. And we also went to Japan this year. And I was able to go on all these trips, and food was never a stressor because I've gotten to the root and I've rewired my brain. Do you ever struggle with emotional eating? So I am completely free from binge eating and emotional eating, but I used to struggle with emotional eating more so when I would get anxious. So more so when I was anxious, and then more so when I was bored. So a lot of the times it was like anytime I was anxious about doing something was like stressing me out or making me very anxious, I would just obviously turn to food to not try to feel those emotions. Absolutely. And then there was also a time where I would just eat as a form of procrastination. I'm like, well, I don't have, my next thing that I have to do is in 30 minutes. So I'm just going to fill up my time. Or in the evenings, it was like, well, I'm tired. I don't want to go to bed. I don't want to watch movies or TV. So I might as well just eat. I feel you. Yes. Right. It was like a form of procrastination. And so yes, this is so common, right? And so I definitely worked through that. I started adding more pleasure in my life. I started adding more joy into my life. The more pleasure and joy you can add into your life, the less you're going to need to falsely get pleasure through food, right? How exactly did you deal with anxious? Well, I love this phrase. Amanda, thank you for asking this question. I love this phrase. We are human beings. We are not human doings. Let me say that again. We are human beings. We are not human doings. And so I needed to remind myself that it was safe for me to just chill. For in regards to the boredom eating, we don't have to be doing something every single second. And then also, anytime I got anxious, I would remind myself, you're safe. Listen, if that phone call is going to make you anxious, you don't need to make that phone call. Take a minute, take a few deep breaths. Let's feel through the anxiety, because in order to heal, you need to feel. And so I would just feel through the anxiety. It's like, okay, Lorna, you're safe. You can even do a powerful visualization exercise. So if you're feeling anxious, you have to ask yourself, what is the emotion that I do want to feel? So if you want to feel calm, close your eyes. And I want you to visualize a calm space. Maybe you're by the beach. Maybe you're in like a spot in your room. Maybe you're on a section of the couch with a cozy blanket and a nice hot cup of tea. That makes you feel really calm. Can you visualize a place that feels very calming for you, or a person that feels very calming for you? And then what ends up happening is you bring that vision as if you were actually there, and you start feeling those feelings of calm. And you can bring that feeling of calm when you're feeling anxious. This powerful visualization exercise that I take my clients through. And so those are a few things that I did to work through the anxiety eating, and then also the boredom eating as well too. Okay, by the way, you guys, I am doing a free masterclass on Thursday. It's about becoming an unstoppable badass, where I'm going to help you have this easy, effortless relationship with food, feel amazing in your own skin. And it's completely free. It's happening on Thursday. So go to the link in my bio to register. And then if you are like, I want specific binge eating support, I love this root and rewire process. Like, I do want to get to the root of my binge eating. I want to rewire my brain, because I want to stop when I'm full. I want to quiet the food noise. I want to get out of the all or nothing mentality. And I don't want quick fixes. I know distracting myself, staying busy does not work. And I actually want to sustainably end this for good. I have my root and rewire membership, where I walk you through this root and rewire process. It's a 6 or 12-month program that will completely transform your entire relationship with food, and everything that I just shared on this training, I will be able to coach you through inside of the membership. And there's an incredible community that you'll have access to. Somebody commented on here, like, nobody talks about binge eating. Well, you got to get inside of my world, because there's an entire community of badasses who are experiencing the exact same thoughts as you, the exact same feelings as you, and it really just helps you to feel less alone. So you can message me the word membership, and I'll send you all the details. You get monthly coaching with me, so you can actually I can actually coach you through binge eating. There's an entire portal of trainings on how to get out of the all or nothing mentality, what to do before, during, and after a binge, how to control your crazy cravings, how to rewire your brain, how to stop emotional eating. So again, what to do when you're actually stressed and you're anxious or you're bored. I actually have specific tools that I can actually walk you through, so that come the end of the night, when you've had a long, stressful day at work, you know exactly what to do, instead of going into the pantry and grabbing the cookies when you know you're just bored. How much is it? It starts at $97 per month. If you literally were to join every single thing separately inside of the membership, it would be over $1,500. But because it's a membership, it starts at $97 per month. So please message me if you have any questions about the membership. This, honestly, I wish I had this when I was going through my relationship with food and binge eating. I felt so alone. Yes, you can join from the UK. I have plenty of UK clients. Yes, come join us. Come join us. You can connect with the other badasses in there as well too. Yes, absolutely. I have coached people from Germany, Australia, UK, China, Portugal, Italy, Belgium, France, Portugal. So come join us from all around the world. But honestly, I wish I had this when I was struggling with binge eating and emotional eating, because I had nobody to talk to. Like, my husband didn't understand what binge eating was. My mom didn't understand what binge eating was. It's like, you feel crazy. It's like, does no one else thinks about food? Okay, I must be crazy. No, you're not crazy. You just haven't surrounded yourself with other people who get you. Other badasses that are like, I see you. Like, I also do constantly think about food, but together we're badasses. We're going to conquer. I call my community badasses because you're not broken if you struggle with binge eating. You're this incredible badass that is so powerful. You are so much stronger than your binge urges, and you can absolutely overcome binge eating with the proper support, the proper community, our Q&A sessions inside of the membership. So I can't wait to see you guys inside. Just message me membership for all the details. All right, you guys, we are going to pop off. Thank you so much for being here. Again, you can message me about the membership. I have a free masterclass on Thursday. You can go to the link in my bio and register as well too. All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye guys.